I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, let's kick it off with the markets. This morning, Wilbur Ross was talking to CNBC about the U.S.-China talks at G20.
I don't know, the market feels a little toppy. I think that I hate it when we have those big up openings. Everybody knows it's, like, to me, the bane of your existence. You really want an opening that's down or flat, and this one opened up way too much. Just bringing out too many sellers. You've got the Nikes, McDonald's, and the 3Ms all up $1, and there'll be heat-seeking missiles locking profits in. So I want people to be careful today, just because, you remember, we've had a big run, and it's perfectly reasonable to expect that we could get a little bit of downturn. I am very concerned that the president is going to put tariffs on the Germans. He talked today about the strong dollar and the disadvantage. The only way to change the disadvantage is to put tariffs on the Germans. I know he thinks that the Germans have big tariffs, they have big tariffs on us. So, I'm just wary of that. That's what I'm very concerned about. I do think that, stocks are up, Dow's up for 7 straight days. That's a lot. So just be a little careful.
Jim, Wilbur Ross was saying that the U.S. and China will not be reaching a definitive trade deal at G20. What would the market look like without a definitive trade deal?
I don't think they can do a definitive trade deal because the president's not a detail person. The Lighthouser is the one that has the ability to be able to do a deal. And I think that Mnuchin said this weekend, look, we had, without a doubt, a very good deal, and they walked away from it. So they got to come back and do that deal. And if they don't, I think the president can declare a victory with Xi. The president doesn't want this market down. He's focused on the market now. When the market hits an all-time high, or if it does, I think then it'll hit Germany. He is tariff happy. In part, now let's give him his due. He's tariff happy because everybody has tariffs on us. So, what he's doing is logical. He's taking the tariffs up against the people who have tariffs on us. And the way that you can change that is to lower your tariffs so we can sell more. I think the president's uniquely conscious that when you go down a lot of streets in big cities, it's all European cars, all Japanese cars. He's not happy with that, unless they're made here. And I think he's really upset about the fact that the Germans built so much capacity in Mexico. He's just so upset about that. And you have to recognize that that's a major focus for him. Major.
Jim, let's talk about FAANG, because the House Judiciary Committee is going to kick off their hearings this afternoon. And looking at FAANG and investors who are, they're kicking off their hearings into big tech. I need to make that very clear. That looking at specifically at FAANG, how should investors who are invested in FAANG approach the stocks right now?
You got to get this piece by Michael Nathanson from MoffettNathanson about Facebook. And what it really, the underline, what says that the worst may be built in terms of what's happening ahead, but the best in terms of earnings is not. And the deceleration seems to have concluded. The expense structure is better. There could be an acceleration from all these new products. I thought it was a very good piece. Alphabet, very tough because there's a Needham piece talking about the breakup of Alphabet would yield a 50% upside. Well, that was supposed to be the bane of their existence, but it looks like that's a positive. I thought that was very, very good. Amazon just keeps rolling on. The president hasn't attacked Amazon lately. I would think that he has to do that. He hates them, and he regards Bezos as a Democrat. So therefore it's motivated somehow. Netflix is everybody's fave, although I haven't seen a lot of winners from Netflix lately.
Well, Netflix is actually going to have a presentation at E3 later on this week.
Oh, okay. What's good on Netflix right now?
Well, okay, so
what's
looking
the most
at
recent one?
What's the most recent movie?
Yeah, what's the most recent series?
I don't know about series, but Ben Stoto was just telling me that he watched. Ben Stoto is a research analyst for Jim's Mad Money team. He just told me that he was watching Always Be My Maybe, that new movie with Ali Wong.
Really?
Yeah, and he really liked it.
Well, I guess I ought to try it out. I'm a little behind. I haven't started Night Manager yet. I want to go to Yellowstone. Apparently, Yellowstone very good, but I think Netflix is devoid of hits, and I know that Disney's going to take away programming. Disney stock has been pretty good here. I don't know. Netflix should be the weakest one, but everyone kind of likes it because it doesn't have political risk.
Well, and interestingly enough, you mentioned Disney Plus, which I'm also curious about, but
yes.
Netflix's presentation at E3 is actually focused on how they're going to turn their series, like Stranger Things, into video games.
Well, that's something I've always wanted. I've always wanted, by the way, to see the movie for Grand Theft Auto. I mean, these are things that are such naturals. I've asked Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two that many, many times. But video
now
games,
you can add Red Dead to that too?
Yeah, oh, that would be something. When here's what'll have to happen, okay? And this is a very easy case, and we can talk about this in our video. But NVIDIA, when I was at NVIDIA, Jensen Huang showed me the future. He put two videos next to each other. He had a video of Star Wars, of lifelike Star Wars, the Federation troops. And then he had a video of their chip, Federation troops, which had the right lighting and shading. And he shifted them around. And I didn't know which one's which. Now, if you take a look at a video game, even the best, even Red Dead right now, on the current model chip, you can tell because they don't have the right shadows. One of the things that Jensen explained to me is it has to do with light. Now, Jensen's a great artist. He's a great everything. He's a great architect, great art. He's a true Renaissance man. He reminds me of when you read books about Michelangelo. I mean, that's who this guy is, Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, he's that special, and he's that great. And he was telling me that it's like chiaroscuro. And bas relief. I mean, the guy is wow. And I took a lot of art classes at college. And what he's basically saying is that they are now in a, that they were in a realist mode, okay? Now they're like kind of in an impressionist mode, which means, they have great colors. Look, they've got a combination of Rembrandt. They've got real. But what they really focus on is shadowing and colors. Now, if you go take a look the way the eye visualizes the current video game, it's clear that it's a video game. In the new models, and I know that Strauss Zelnick is aware of this, the new models, you can't tell whether they're real actors or not. And it is amazing, and that is going to trigger movies. I mean, one of the things that's so great about the chip is that they can do a video game, they can make, let's say a video game takes 5 months to do and drawing stuff, they can make it in 2 weeks. Jensen is so brilliant. Why do we own NVIDIA? We're banking on him being, he's brilliant. Again, just by the way, just harking back on the market, I'm not, the market's toppy. I want people to know, the market's toppy. Just be a little careful.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because let's talk about, for just 1 second, let's talk about your conference call on Action Alerts Plus, which will be at 11:30 tomorrow morning.
What to do when you see a sell-off coming and how to spot a sell-off and what makes for a sell-off that you have to take action and even sell good stocks. And I think it's going to be a good call. We're going to talk about our newest name, which is MasterCard, with Jeff. We'll answer viewer questions. I promise to keep it concise because I know people have a lot to do. If the market reverses big today, obviously I'm going to have to rip things up because I spend a lot of time on the call and then I rip it up and then I do it again and I rip it up because I try to be as current and as informative as possible in an environment that is fluid. I'll give you an example. We met this morning about United Technologies. Debated about whether it's going to should be put in the bullpen tomorrow. And Jeff made a very good point. Jeff Marks made a very good point that, well, after Dow DuPont, we have to be very careful. Let's wait on that. And so we're going to add a new name to the bullpen. You're going to want to be on the call. You can just sign up for the call. We had a huge number of people on the call before. And I just go back again, no hedge fund manager gives you a call. No mutual fund manager gives you a call. I have been both. I compounded at 24% after all fees for 14 years. I did great as an investor at Goldman. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just saying, I'm going to put all of that to work in the conference call. The trust itself, remember, we have to pull the money out of the trust. We can't reinvest, and we're often frozen. But the way you can find out what we're really thinking is the call, so you should sign up.
You can sign up over on actionalertsplus.com. Now, Jim, I gotta say, when Martin Bakardax, our London bureau chief, told me this morning what the stock of the day was, I was kind of excited because it's Beyond Meat, which is something that I'm specializing in right now.
Well, look, I mean, it's exhausting to see a stock up about 600%, and you know that it's up because of short sellers trying to borrow stock to be able to sell, and because of vegans and vegetarians coming in. It's like their stock, and there's a cohort of vegetarians that want shares of Beyond Meat, and you got to let that one cool off. That could be nasty. Got to let that one cool off.
And I got a J.P. Morgan downgrade this morning.
Ken Goldman is very, very good, and he recognizes that, it's had a big run, and it's the first valuation call we've had during this gigantic move, and I think that there has to be more valuation calls. There needs to be more selling. It's not enough. I mean, I prefer Mondelez.
As you mentioned, the stock is up 576% since it IPO'd on May 1st, but I'm curious, Is this downgrade enough to change investor appetite?
No, and you have to have a couple more. You have to have someone go to a sell. You have to have someone say that Impossible is doing better, which I think it is. But there is demand for Beyond Meat. You have to have a major analyst say it tastes bad. These things could all happen. See, once no one wanted to get in its way in front of it while it was going up, but once they trip it up, it can really be kicked when it's down, especially if the market turns down, as I think it will.
Now, you wrote about Beyond, but you also wrote about a frothy market in your Real Money piece last night, and then you also talked about it a lot on Mad Money. So I want to talk to you, taking this from an investing education angle. Can you describe to our viewers what a frothy market is really quickly?
Well, a frothy market is when you have stocks go straight up in parabolic. I mean, that's what we always used to call it. It's a parabolic move. Parabolic moves are always really frothy, and moves that don't have any basis on. I mean, let's take a look at Amazon. Now, I happen to like Amazon very much. Amazon is going up maybe 100 points on nothing. That's fraud, okay? Beyond Meat going up 570, that's fraud. A lot of the Oktas, the Zscalers, the Coupas, the Zendesk, they've been going up, the enterprise software, they've been going up, and up. That's fraud. Workday, fraud. Those need to cool off. I like every one of those. But I said yesterday they have to cool off, and they're cooling off.
So what are 3 signs? If I'm just looking at the market and I'm just looking at Amazon and I'm seeing it up, what are 3 signs that is a frothy market?
Well, one is you have to say, okay, why? If the stock's going up on nothing, that's fraud. 2 is, do we have stocks that are going up regardless of their valuation? And that is certainly where we are. And then 3 is a situation where you have stocks reverse. Okay, so you had United Technologies and Raytheon, everybody loves it. And then you realize they just went too far up. And it gets pretty ugly very fast. So, I just want people to recognize they should not have opened this market so high. That was also fraud. We need to start testing some of these levels. I was saying that we could go back to where we were, a little bit where we were, because the top market is topping.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. That's all the time that we have for today. For all of you watching on TheStreet.com or on Facebook, we are now jumping over to our Action Alerts Plus members-only club video on ActionAlertsPlus.com. And I just have to say it again, guys, remember that tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. is Jim's Action Alerts Plus members-only club call. It'll be live. It'll be for about an hour. He's going to teach you everything that you need to know, looking at the micro, macro, and
mechanics.
Yep. And that's what you guys need to know. You can sign up over on ActionAlertsPlus.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.